Yeah, go ahead.
This is a 62-year-old male, resident of Coimbatore. His chief complaint was pain in the right flank for the last 4 months.
Yes, Nicholas. Carry on. Give the next slide also.
Pain in the right flank was insidious in onset. It was continuous, moderate in intensity, dull aching, without any radiation shifting or effort pain. It was not associated with any aggravating factors or relieving factors.
You want to ask any more questions? Nilesh? Hello? Hello, KM?
Hello.
Yeah?
Yeah. Whether the pain was relieved with medication or not?
Yeah, occasionally he used to take medication, after which the pain was relieved urgently.
Was there any past history of urolithiasis in this patient?
No such history.
Is there any history of trauma or any fullness in the flank region?
There's no history of any trauma.
Okay. Is there any history of lower urinary tract symptoms? Is there any history of a fever?
There's no history of lower urinary tract symptoms or fever.
Okay.
What are the other upper tract symptoms?
Is there any history of hematuria?
No history of hematuria.
No history of pyuria or lithuria?
No.
Any other urological intervention in the past? Any surgical history in this patient?
No such intervention history.
Okay. Okay, there is no history of weight loss also, and no history of hemoptysis, bone pain, or breathlessness. Is the patient diabetic or hypertensive? Is any history of COX is present in this patient?
No previous history of any COX.
What is the personal history? Is there history of smoking or tobacco consumption?
Yes, there is significant history of tobacco consumption. The appetite was normal, bowel habit was normal, micturition normal. The patient has history of smoking of BD on an average of 1 pack daily for the last 40 years. And there is also history of alcohol consumption on an average 180 ml every week for the last 35 years.
Okay. What was the?
What do you feel now? He has only flank pain and just history of smoking.
So,
I cannot hear you. You have to be closer to the mic, I think.
Only flank pain and history of smoking, sir. Asking Nikhilesh what is going on in his mind.
Right.
There can be variety of clinical condition. It can be urological or non-urological. Urological condition like renal or ureteric calculus. Then renal cystic disease or large renal cyst can cause flank pain.
What I would suggest is when you are discussing this at this point, instead of enumerating the conditions like calculus, this thing, cyst and all that, say they could be either benign pathology or malignant pathology. It could be inflammatory, it could be non-inflammatory. Put it in that category and just wait. Don't commit yourself at this point. You don't know. You just got right loin pain. This could be,
Yes, sir.
It could be a congenital problem. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
So, you basically have an inflammatory condition and a non-inflammatory condition.
Yes.
Non-inflammatory conditions may be congenital and they may be neoplastic. The inflammatory conditions are as they have advised. So, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Get it. It's just a suggestion. It just keeps it keeps the discussion on a different level. At the same time, it keeps you your options.
Yes, sir. So, it can be a congenital condition like junction obstruction or renal cyst. It can be a benign condition like renal or ureteric calculus disease, or inflammatory condition like genitourinary cox, or can even be upper tract urinary tract infection can present with only pain in the initial part of presentation. It can be malignant. It can be a malignancy. Can be a retroperitoneal malignancy, or it can be a renal malignancy presenting with pain.
We have added history of smoking.
Yeah, it can be upper tract urothelial carcinoma, or it can be very rarely a lower urinary tract malignancy like carcinoma of bladder with involvement of ureteric orifice.
Yeah, but has he had any hematuria?
No, sir, there is no history of hematuria.
Then how many patients with presentation of primary bladder tumor present with right loin pain? Have you seen any? Have you seen any patient who has got whose primary presentation was right loin pain and you found a bladder tumor?
No, sir.
No, so you have to be clear about some statistical facts, so
Yes, sir.
bladder tumors invariably present with hematuria. Well, 90% of their presentation is hematuria. Okay.
So, can we have examination finding for abdominal and local examination finding?
General examination, patient was conscious, alert, cooperative, and oriented to time, place, and person. Blood pressure was 130/80. Pulse rate was 78 per minute. Performance status on ECOG scale was 2. Pallor, icterus, cyanosis, clubbing, edema, dehydration, cervical lymphadenopathy were all absent.
Okay, local examination.
Abdomen was soft, non-tender. There was no mass or lump palpable. There was no organomegaly. Bowel sounds were heard. Rectal examination was normal except grade 1 prostatomegaly. Genitalia was also normal. Prepuce retractable. Meatus normal, and both the testes were normal.
Okay. So the examination finding does not give me any clue regarding the clinical or pathological condition. So I would like to proceed with investigation. I would like to do urine routine microscopy, CBC, and serum creatinine. And yes, serum creatinine.
These are the blood investigation reports.
Okay, urine routine. Can I see the CBC report again? Okay, WBC counts were normal.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I would like to proceed with ultrasonography KUB for this patient.
What do you mean ultrasound KUB? What do you mean by that?
Sir, focus assessment of kidney, ureter, bladder, and
you
prostate.
don't want to see the rest of the abdomen. You don't want to see gallbladder. You don't want to see anything else. Just focus only on that. Huh?
No, sir, it will be a ultrasound.
Just say ultrasound of the abdomen.
Yes.
Just say ultrasound of the abdomen. Why do you want to focus only on KUB? Huh?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Patient was evaluated outside. We do not have pictures, but the report of ultrasound showed features suggestive of right pyelonephritis, focal ill-defined hypoechoic lesion in the right kidney, possibly abscess. CT evaluation needed.
what was the size of the lesion and where was it located? Do we know?
The lesion was in the lower pole of the right kidney. Subsequently, the patient underwent CT scan, CT evaluation.
Okay. Next. 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 These are same images or okay. Okay.
He's collected all the images that you want and shown it to you.
Yes, sir. So this is a contrast enhanced CT scan of abdomen and
Go to
pelvis.
the axial cuts, Soumya. Yeah, you want to, yes, leave it the previous one. Yeah, leave it there. Yeah.
So
remember the ultrasound finding?
Yes, sir.
And now look at the CT scan findings.
Yes, sir. So this
Okay,
is
let's read the CT scan.
Yes, sir. This is an contrast enhanced CT scan of abdomen and pelvis. It is a multiphasic CT. In this, the left-sided kidney appears to be normal. On the right side, on the plain film, there is a heterogeneous, partly cystic, partly solid lesion in the lower pole and posterior part of the right kidney, approximately 5.
How are you saying it is partly cystic?
Sir,
Why cystic?
necrosis, no. With irregular wall, no. There is no definite wall of the lesion.
You have to distinguish between a lesion. When you say a cystic lesion and
Sujata, we can't hear you.
Sir, I said I'm telling him you have. I said while describing, like you're describing this hypodense lesion, so you have to distinguish whether it has a wall, whether it's merging within the substance of the kidney, and then you can say whether it's a cystic lesion or whether it is hydronephrotic part of the kidney or it is necrotic part of the kidney, because these are the only hypodense lesions which are present, right? Malignancy, cyst, and all. Like, what would be the how would you distinguish all these four?
Ma'am, in this there will be a definite wall. There is so in this case there is no definite wall. So it is a approximately 6 by 5 centimeter of heterogeneous lesion in the lower pole of the kidney. There is.
When you say heterogeneous, what do you imply by that?
Sir, there are some areas of hypodensity and some areas which are enhancing on the contrast.
Where is it enhancing and where is it not enhancing?
It is peripherally.
And is it is most of the lesion enhancing or hypodense?
Most of the lesion is hypodense.
All right. Yes. Anything else about this hypodense lesion?
Sir, the lower polar collecting system is not well defined. It is occupied by the lesion, and on the arterial phase there is no significant enhancement of the lesion. And on urography film, we have seen that the excretion from the right kidney is not present.
Very good. I'm glad you made that observation. I was wondering whether you would actually make that observation, honestly, but that is an important observation. You see that reconstructed image they showed of excretion. The left kidney was excreting and see the pelvic ileation system and the ureter, but in the same cut you couldn't see any excretion from the right side.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
What is more important in describing this lesion?
There is minimal peripheral fat.
There is a nice phrase in radiological parlance. It's called well marginated. That means there is a good margin. Remember this word, well marginated. That means you have a lesion which has got a nice margin and is, as Dr. Sujata said, has it got a nice border around it? It doesn't seem to have that. It's all very diffuse, isn't it? If you look at the middle section, if you look at the middle cut, you will see that, it's partly in the lower pole, then there's a diffuseness about it. It seems to be eating into the rest of the kidney. And if you look at the extreme left one, you see that the whole thing is very bizarre, and it's merging with the parenchyma. You are able to distinguish bits of parenchyma, but generally speaking, it's merging and sort of infiltrating into that. And that's why I'm saying it is not well marginated. So usually these RCCs are all well marginated, isn't it? They're exophytic, it may be endophytic, but you see a nice capsule. That's the important thing about renal clear cell carcinomas. They have a capsule. And that's why you can do many of these operations that have been described, partial nephrectomy, enucleation, all that. And even pathologically, if you look at it, the pathology always says it's a capsule.
Yes.
So think of it that way and see, and then remember the ultrasound picture that they showed. Ultrasound report rather.
Yes, sir.
Now try and see whether that fits in. I told you, try and see whether that fits in with the CT scan report, or is it totally different?
The CT scan findings are partly the same as ultrasound. However, there is no well-defined.
What are the features on this which seem to match the ultrasound findings? You remember the ultrasound? You remember the ultrasound picture?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sir, I mean, not picture. Sorry, the report.
It is a lower polar lesion. It is a hypodense. There is significant area of necrosis. Very minimal area of solid mass in the lesion. There is peripheral fat stranding.
What is happening to that whatever hypodense lesion you are saying? You need to describe it, then you will come to know is it anything specific. So when we describe, for example, an abscess, so how is it described on CT?
The lesion has a ill-defined wall. It appears to be merging with the renal parenchyma and collecting system. The it has area of necrosis. There is no enhancement of the lesion.
Is there no enhancement?
There is some enhancement here and there. It's not totally bland, there is. But it's not enhancing like the parenchyma.
Yes. There is no hydronephrosis also. The part of upper ureter appears to be thickened. The PU junction appears to be thickened.
Is this kidney enlarged inside compared to the other kidney?
Slightly enlarged. This kidney is slightly enlarged.
Are there other similar areas in the rest of the parenchyma?
No, ma'am.
Go to the upper cuts. Go to the upper cuts.
Yes, sir.
The axial ones, yeah. Okay, come now.
The upper pole appears to be normal. The similar area can be appreciated in mid pole. It can be a starting point of the lesion.
Okay, go to the next cut. Next. Now go to the previous cut. Okay, now look at this cut. Look at the image on the extreme right of your screen.
Yes, sir.
You are beginning to see the hilum, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So it is somewhere in the middle. Hilum is usually in the mid segment of the kidney. All right, you see the two lips, you see the superior and inferior hilar lips are there, you see them.
Yes.
And at the moment you don't see anything there. Go down, go to the next cut, and then you begin to see this, and you see the lesion. And at this point in this in the series, in the CT series, you do see some peripheral enhancement of this lesion, but again it's a hypodense lesion, and here you get the impression that there may be some degree of capsule or margination. But if you go to the next cut, next one, yeah, now you begin to see this. It's all becoming very bizarre and diffuse, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
It seems to have lost its shape. What it was having a shape there, it seems to have lost its shape.
Yes, sir.
So now, on the basis of this, what do you think is your clinical impression? Remember, this patient has pain in the right line.
Yes. There is no appreciable lymphadenopathy, as well as the fat planes with surrounding structure appears to be normal.
Yes.
So with this CT picture, it can be a CT picture of upper tract urothelial carcinoma, or it can be an infectious pathology, can be a renal abscess, but
No,
the patient does
all
not
are
have...
the same. It could be infectious pathology, the same as abscess.
Yes.
So you're saying it could be either benign or it could be malignant, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So try to tell me what do you think it could be. If it's what are the features in favor of it being an infection? What are the features in favor of it being an infection?
Sir, there is no history of hematuria.
No. What are the features in favor of infection? There is no hematuria, right? Anything else?
The lesion appears to be intraparenchymal with, I do not find any evidence of extension of the lesion. The function of that kidney, right kidney, is affected. It is poorly functioning.
Right.
There is peripheral fat stranding, which is present.
Okay. Minimal
fat
stranding is there. I mean, you see the amount of peripheral fat standing in a patient who has got an infection. It's very evident.
Yes.
Isn't it? You've seen so many infections. The gyrotous fascia is very thickened and it's very evident. Here you're sort of trying to, look very closely at the images to try to find out if there is any fat stranding here.
Yes, sir.
What is against it? What is against an infection?
Against is, sir, first of all, patient is has no comorbidity. Patient is non-diabetic. There is history of smoking present. The age of patient is 65 years. Then the lesion has no definite wall. It is diffuse.
Anything else? If there's an infection, what will the urine show?
Yeah, there are no pus cells, no significant pus cell in the urine.
Anything else? Anything else?
No tenderness in the
anything else?
Examination.
If there is such a lesion in the kidney, which
no hematuria, RBC are also absent in urine routine microscopy.
Is there fever?
No, there is no issue of fever.
Yeah, then isn't that a very important symptom of infection?
Yes.
So, yeah. So, what's the other differential? You're not very sure whether it could be infective pathology or it could be non-infective, isn't it? At this moment, even we consider infection, the yeses and nos seem to be sort of equal. Some say yes, some say no. So you'll have to now. What is any other differential you have?
Can be
any other differential?
Can it be any chronic infection?
Can be genitourinary tuberculosis.
So
genitourinary tuberculosis.
You see any telltale signs which can help you?
Ma'am, selectively lower calyceal are involved. Yes, sir. Selectively lower calyceal system is involved. The upper ureter appears to be thickened in the area of pelviureteric junction. Apart from that, there is no any other indication of genitourinary tuberculosis.
Or the caseation necrosis in tuberculosis occur in the cortex or in the medulla?
It appears in the cortex and then extend towards the hilum, towards the medulla. There are no calcification also, which goes against.
Such a big lesion in the kidney, without any urinary symptoms, with a totally benign urinary sediment. How can, you want to consider TB?
Not a primary diagnosis, sir, but still possible.
Still possible.
Generally,
even in the realms of possibility, there must be some logic in your thinking. Anyway, all right.
Mainly involves the cortex, and there won't be a single lesion. There will be other lesions. Why will the kidney stop functioning? Why has the kidney stopped functioning?
Can be because
when does the kidney stop excreting?
When there is a.
What is the question, Sujata?
I said the kidney is not functioning on this side. So what could be the reason for it? Rather, it's picking up a contrast only in the few parts of the cortex, but there is no delineation of the PC system. So that indicates what one major problem happening in addition to this hypodense lesion. Obstruction at what all levels? It could be. Is it absence of renal blood flow? No, because some amount of
parenchyma enhancing on arterial.
So is it absence of venous blood flow?
No, kidney is not appears to be congested or diffusely enlarged.
Okay, and then so what collecting system has to be obstructed.
There is no hydronephrosis, so the obstruction.
Is there any hydronephrosis here?
Yes.
To say the collecting system is obstructed?
No, sir. There is no.
There is no hydronephrosis.
Yes, sir.
Why is there no hydronephrosis?
Can be functional due to infection.
Okay, so yes, certainly. So what is the characteristic of infection that makes the kidney suffer from lack of function?
Sir,
It's because the whole thing is involved, isn't it?
yes, sir.
Yeah, the whole of the parenchyma is involved, and the parenchyma is involved in bits and pieces. We are not saying this kidney function is zero. There is some blood flow, there is some enhancement, but generally speaking, if you look at right and left, as you rightly said, that there is a clear difference of differential function. You look at this slide, you see the amount of enhancement on the left side, and you see the amount of enhancement on the right. And this would indicate that this is either a diseased kidney from the start, and therefore its function has gone down, or it is a lesion which looks like this on the CT, but much more of the kidney is involved, which you cannot see.
Yes, sir.
All you can see at the moment is the upper pole of the kidney, which seems to be better, and the rest of the kidney seems to be sort of diffusely involved without any hydronephrosis.
Yes.
So what will you do in a situation like this?
Sir, I would like to do a urine cytology before proceeding.
Right,
to...
urine cytology was negative.
Okay. And in such cases, I would like to do an image-guided biopsy of the lesion.
Why not start them on antibiotics? Why not start them on antibiotics and see the response? What other differential diagnosis would you like to consider in such a patient?
Sir, I would like to consider upper tract urothelial carcinoma. It is a rapidly progressive disease. Also, the kidney is not functioning. So I would like to be aggressive about this condition and like to do renal mass biopsy for this patient.
So what are the indications for renal mass biopsy?
Sir, first of all, if the imaging findings are equivocal to distinguish between infectious and malignant process, then if the patient of renal tumor wants surveillance, then we have to do a renal mass biopsy. If the patient has metastatic renal malignancy, renal mass biopsy is done to see whether it is clear cell or non-clear cell variety. Then in the cases suspicious of lymphoma, we can do a renal mass biopsy.
Okay, so you would like to do a biopsy of this lesion?
Yes.
Would you like to do cystoscopy and retrograde? Or RIRS? Why don't you want to do a cystoscopy and RIRS? Well, urologists are doing RIRS now. It is the flavor of the month, flavor of the season, RIRS. It's done for everything now.
Yes, if RIRS is available to me, then
what is your indication for doing RIRS in this patient?
Sir, differential diagnosis of upper tract.
You tell me,
Yes.
RIRS is you want to see your pelvis and you want to see your infundibulum, or what is your achievement on RIRS? What will you achieve?
Ma'am, we can visualize the urothelium and we can take a biopsy from the lesion
suppose this
if
is an
there is a
abscess.
lesion.
But on the basis of this, you think RIRS is indicated?
Are you sure you'll reach that area and you'll be able to do something? You're doing an invasive investigation under anesthesia.
Is this basically a collecting system? Is it involving the collecting system? There is no hydronephrosis?
The upper ureter was thickened. That's why.
Upper ureter was thickened.
No, I am asking a question because I want to know whether you understand why you don't want to do, why you want to do, why you don't want to do an RIRS. It's important to know. Because anything can be done. So I'm just trying to quiz you to find out whether you've got your feet on the ground and not get carried away by all these investigations.
Sir, it doesn't appears to be connecting with the PC system.
No, you should be able to at this point, Nicholas, tell the examiner, I don't see a role for RARS here. Don't agree with everything he says. It's possible that he may be leading you up the garden path, giving you some different angle and trying to lead you astray. You don't want that. No. There's no indication for RS. Patient has got no hematuria, the urine cytology is negative, there is no hydronephrosis. And this, although the lesion appears to be a diffuse infiltrative type of lesion, such a large lesion, I would have expected some urine findings, which is negative. So I will not get any benefit by doing an RARS. Tell him clearly. Examiners like to be challenged. Gently, of course. You can't fight on the exam hall, but you can challenge them. No. So, because sometimes they will ask you a question, trying to probe whether you fall into a trap at all or not, and trying to see whether you're being rational in what you're saying. So that question was just thrown at you just to see whether you are able to give a rational explanation to whatever is being said. So there's no role for RARS. Forget it.
Yes, sir.
So stick to your original idea. That this is a lesion which is not characterizable very clearly. The ultrasound has reported an infection, but there is nothing to suggest an infection. And there is no doubt that there is a lesion here in the kidney, and I don't know about it. And therefore, your first suggestion of doing a mass biopsy is the correct one. And I want you to say it with confidence. No, you must be upfront to say, no, this is indication. Because if you don't give that answer clearly, then the examiner will know that, oh, isko ya to tip mila hai, biopsy karo. Yeah, he's got a tip or something like that. Or he's not sure, he's just taking a chance. So he will ask you the next question, what are the indications for renal mass biopsy? So this is what I will do. I will do a biopsy of this and try to find it. You understand the way you approach the problem, the way you handle the exam. So that's how it is. All right. So carry on. So you want to do a biopsy?
Yes, sir.
You do under local or general?
A local anesthesia.
What is the size of needle? You do FNAC or FNAB?
Sir, FNAB with 18 gauge true cut biopsy needle.
How many passes will you take? How many cores?
2 cores, sir.
2 passes. All right. What sort of biopsy device will you use?
Sir, coaxial ultrasound guided coaxial biopsy.
What is this coaxial? What is coaxial? What is the device you use to biopsy, man?
Sir, true cut biopsy needle with ultrasound.
That's it.
Yes.
True cut biopsy, yeah. That's what everybody is using nowadays, no?
Yes, sir.
Biopsy gun. True cut biopsy, that's all. What is the advantage of a true cut biopsy over the original Wim Silverman biopsy?
Sir, I've seen but not used.
You have not seen or used? Okay.
I've seen but not used. It has a central stellate and a trocar.
No, you go and see the Wim Silverman needle and then you will be able to find out.
Prong like.
It doesn't.
You see the Wim Silverman needle and you will be able to find out.
So what is the advantage of a true cut biopsy or normal needle aspiration or whatever?
It gives true cut biopsy needle gives tissue for histopathology on which histopathology can be performed. It gives ample amount
No,
of...
the biggest advantage of the true cut biopsy, it gives a core of tissue. And therefore, to slice it by the microtome and fix it and slice it is much more easier. They can tell you that's how you do prostate biopsy, isn't it? You get cores of tissue. Whereas if you see the Wim Silverman, it gives you a core, but not like the true cut biopsy. It splays the tissue, and therefore it's no longer used. It produces more damage than actually the true cut biopsy. So will you use guided biopsy, or will you do ultrasound guided or CT guided?
Ultrasound guided.
Ultrasound guided biopsy. All right. Suppose the biopsy is negative, what will you do? Supposing the biopsy is negative, you do something, it comes like, oh, not sure what it is. What will you do?
Sir, further testing the biopsy specimen with immunohistochemistry can be done. Or
no, it's negative. Negative.
Before immunohistochemistry, what can you do?
Everything you hit doesn't have to be positive. It can turn out negative. I want to know what you'll do if this negative biopsy.
The biopsy will give me idea whether it is infectious process.
No. The biopsy is negative. Shows some obscene glomeruli. It shows some tubules. It shows some necrotic tissue.
So repeat biopsy. I would like to do repeat biopsy with peripheral area of the tissue.
When will you do the repeat biopsy? When will you do the repeat biopsy?
Sir, if there is no hematoma post biopsy, then I can repeat it at that time only.
Same day.
On second or third day, when the histopath reports is available. After 48 hours, it can be done, sir.
Anything is possible. Anything can be done. First of all, when you look at this lesion, the question is asked with specific reference to this lesion, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And it will be very difficult if it is. You'll have to check with the guy who did it as to whether he used it a guided technique or a non-guided technique. Sometimes they just bang it. So if it is a guided technique, there is no reason why it should be negative. Nevertheless, if there's a lot of necrosis in the tissue, will it be suspicious or will it not be suspicious? Supposing the biopsy report shows large areas of necrosis, but they cannot trim. Because sometimes you get, no? Yes, say, for example, in CA penis, if you don't biopsy properly, they will say necrosis.
Yes.
Cannot comment. That's why you take from the edge normal as well as a tumor.
Yes.
Here also they could report only areas of necrosis.
Then it is suspicious for infective.
If there's large area of necrosis,
yes.
You look at the lesion again. If you look at the lesion again, what is it that produces necrosis? Is it an inflammatory condition or is it a malignant condition?
Sir, poorly differentiated malignant condition.
Malignant conditions, don't say poorly defined. Malignant conditions generally express necrosis of tissue. So therefore, if there's large amount of necrosis, your index of suspicion towards malignancy will be higher than it is towards inflammatory. In this case, that is your basic idea. You want to know whether I'm dealing with an inflammatory condition or whether I'm dealing with a non-inflammatory, i.e. malignant. in view of the history of smoking and pain. Those
Yes.
two factors in your history are the most important in the absence of any other finding. Okay?
Yes.
So there's no business for somebody to be missing anything here, but sometimes tissues don't express what you get in that core may not be. And therefore, in a situation like this where it has drawn necrosis and you have done a biopsy, then what you said is to go back in again and see. But if you think that everything is fine, you've taken a good core, you discussed with the guy, and he says, no, I got it right, I got everything right, then ideally they say repeat the biopsy after 3 months. But ultimately, the index of suspicion rests with you, and the ball is in your court to decide what you want to do. This patient has pain, and this patient has a very poorly functioning right kidney. There is no hydronephrosis, and there's a definite lesion there.
Yes.
So either you biopsy again, which is probably what you need to do in a situation like this where the index of suspicion is high, or what?
Proceed for surgical management in the form of right-sided nephrectomy.
Yes, absolutely right. You have a lesion inside that kidney. It's occupying a vast amount of that kidney parenchyma. It has actually destroyed the function, and you could quantify that function by doing a DMSA or DTPA or whatever it is. And he's a 64-year-old man. He's got a good kidney on the opposite side, reasonably good renal function, and he's a non-diabetic, I think. Is he non-diabetic?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you'll have to take that kidney out. If you want to be more sure in that situation, you could do a retrograde pyelogram before surgery, and that will tell you how much of collecting system has been either destroyed or not destroyed as a result of this, and how much of this whole kidney is getting involved with this. Because you're not seeing any excretory pattern. You're not seeing the calyces, you're not seeing the pelvis, all that in this kidney. So you want to know. If it's very clear cut, you won't do it. But because you have ambiguity, you want to be sure and dot the I's and cross the T's, as they say. Don't leave any stone unturned. It doesn't take you very long to do a retrograde. Just do it at the time of surgery. You've already decided that I'm going to take it out. You just want one more supporting evidence to help you make your decisions.
Yes, sir.
So, renal mass biopsy is indicated in this particular case. What is the biopsy report? What do you think should be, if this is malignancy?
Yes, sir.
Nikhilesh, let me ask you, if this was a malignant lesion, what should be the biopsy report? Stop there. Soumya, stop there.
Yes,
if
sir.
this turns out to be malignant lesion,
Yes, sir.
what sort of malignancy are we looking at?
Sir, upper tract urothelial carcinoma or renal malignancy with sarcomatoid differentiation or very aggressive
Renal malignancy means RCC.
RCC, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Or sir, medullary or collecting duct carcinoma, which are highly aggressive and may present like this with central lesion and appearance similar to upper tract urothelial carcinoma.
Right, very good, very good. So it does, you do have some knowledge of how these lesions actually present. So medullary carcinoma, collecting duct carcinoma usually presents in this manner. Don't forget lymphoma also. Diffuse infiltrative lesions in the kidney, causing loss of function of the kidney. Very non-specific complaints. Lymphoma is the other differential. So you basically 3 types. You do have renal malignancy, lymphoma, and upper tract disease. So show him the biopsy report.
This was the biopsy report which was done. Immunomorphological features suggestive of poorly differentiated carcinoma of renal origin with loss of iron I1 favoring collecting duct carcinoma.
So you see, on the basis of a renal mass biopsy, they have been able to do immunohistochemistry and type this lesion. So it is possible today with renal biopsies to actually decide whether somebody on whom you are contemplating a partial nephrectomy is going to benefit at all or not. So there is a move now to actually biopsy these patients and try to say, okay, it looks like a very bad tumor. You're better off having your kidney removed, because ultimately the EORTC studies and the long-term outcome we read says that radical nephrectomy is better than partial nephrectomy in terms of overall tumor-specific survival. So radical nephrectomy is still a very good operation for renal cancer. We are not saying partial nephrectomy is not to be done. Don't take it amiss. It's very important to read all these things in the context. When you say something like this, residents say, oh, he said no, partial nephrectomy is of no use. No, nobody says that at all. Nobody says that. You have to be very clear what the data is, favoring one and not favoring the other. Everybody thinks, see, that's the flavor of the month is partial nephrectomy.
Yes.
Why is it the flavor of the month? Laparoscopy hai, robotic hai, all these you want to use, you know, that's a flavor. Whatever I will take. So I get my practice. When partial nephrectomy is indicated, you were doing radical nephrectomy because you wanted to improve your laparoscopy skills. It was easy to do a laparoscopic nephrectomy. Then as you got better with laparoscopic nephrectomy, you started doing laparoscopic partial nephrectomy. And then you got the robot, so you started doing robotic partial nephrectomy. See how things are moving. It's very important. Keep the focus and say radical nephrectomy is still a damn good operation. You can't do partial for everybody. And don't feel bad if you have to take out somebody's kidney for cancer. That's the important thing. It's a good operation.
Yes, sir.
So, collecting duct carcinoma, good prognosis, bad prognosis.
Bad prognosis, sir.
Very bad.
You know something more? Can you talk a few sentences about collecting duct carcinoma of the kidneys?
Sujata, क्या पूछा आपने? What did you ask?
I said, say a few sentences about collecting duct carcinoma of the kidney. Offhand, it's difficult, I suppose. Any other name it has?
Is it a familial carcinoma or a non-familial carcinoma?
No, non-familial.
Sorry?
Non-familial. I think non-familial. Okay. Any other name to it?
Any other feature of collecting duct carcinoma? Is it in older people, younger people?
It is also called as a carcinoma of duct of Bellini.
Any other name? Bellini duct carcinoma.
Different, but
Any other name? Okay, what else? Is it seen, sir has asked, younger people, elder people?
older population.
Any other features? Anything you want to talk about?
Is it radio sensitive?
It is a radio resistant and chemotherapy.
What about, is it chemo sensitive or chemo resistant?
Chemo resistant, sir.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it. Very poor prognosis. They are looking at some chemotherapy models now, but collecting duct carcinoma is generally very poor. And surgery is done. You recognize it by the fact that it has this diffuse morphological diffuse features on the CT scan. And whenever you see a picture like this, think of this condition. Think of this condition. Think of lymphoma. Rule them out and think of TCC. The easiest to make a diagnosis would be TCC because by the time the lesion is like this, it is fairly evident. And lymphoma also, there may be other features. You will find other lymph nodes in the retroperitoneum. The LDH will be markedly elevated in these patients. All right.
Yes.
There may be other lymph nodes somewhere else. Huh? So
Absence of hematuria is very contrasting with this radiological and
exactly. These patients do not usually present with hematuria. So that's the other problem, except for upper tract TCCs. Collecting duct carcinomas also can present with hematuria, but we showed this case, I think, only because it's a rare tumor, and the CT findings are pretty classical.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What is the final biopsy report, Soumya?
Yes, sir. So final
What is the
biopsy.
final-
So
Put it out there. Have you got it with you?
yes, it is not in the slide, sir, but I have it with me.
Yeah, read it out.
Yes, sir. So the nephrectomy specimen shows poorly differentiated carcinoma, poorly differentiated collecting duct carcinoma, perinephric fat invaded by tumor, Gerota's fascia is free, renal vein shows tumor embolus, ureteric cut end shows microscopic foci of tumor invasion of the wall. The cut ends of the renal vessels are free from the tumor. The adrenal gland shows normal histology.
Was the ureteric margin free from the tumor?
The ureteric cut end shows microscopic foci of tumor invasion of the wall.
So how much of ureter was removed? Do we know that?
Renal vein shows tumor embolus. Gerota's fascia was free.
Okay. During radical nephrectomy, how much was the ureter removed? Was it ligated till lower ureter, or it was ligated at upper ureter?
Pelvic brim, just below the pelvic brim.
Lower ureter it was.
Okay.
Okay, nice case, Soumya. Nice presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.